already loved by others.
Hi, I'm Michelle Hudspeth. Thank you for joining me today. I'm continuing my story of my journey to self-awareness. And in the last video, which is video number 5, I talked about anger and blame and shame, and then how that led me to the power of forgiveness. And I was experiencing more and more joy because I was getting freer and freer of these negative beliefs and these negative emotions that had really ruled my mind and my actions for as long as I could remember. So today I want to talk about acceptance. That is what led me to a place of acceptance of myself. And acceptance is a powerful, powerful thing. It is such a liberating thing. It brings true freedom to be able to accept yourself exactly as you are. And remember, you can only give what you have. So by accepting yourself, it actually helps you to love others better and love others well in a healthy way, and not in a codependent way. I think truly what acceptance is releasing of all control. They use it in the Serenity Prayer for people that are overcoming addictions to all kinds of things: codependency, alcohol, love addictions, narcotics. The Serenity Prayer is a basic fundamental prayer of both powerlessness and powerfulness. And by that I mean that when we fully accept ourselves and accept each other, I think that's when we really let go of all control. And by letting go of control, what we're really saying is, I'm letting go of fear. And I'm trusting that this world, this planet is not hostile, it's a good place. And that God, or my higher power, has love for me and has good things planned for me. I think for me, that's my experience. That is what I am saying when I accept. So at first, learning to accept myself was really challenging because I had been very codependent. And as a codependent enabler rescuer type, I had created pseudo selves. I talked about Cinderella before. But I also had pseudo selves for, like, when I was at church, and when I was with my family, and when I was with my other mom friends, because I had lots of children and I was homeschooling. And then I would be someone else with my husband. Now, I'm not saying I had split personalities and I'm schizophrenic, but all I'm saying is I would alter my behavior a little, just enough so that it was more pleasing and I got more affirmation from whoever it was that I was with. I even had certain, words that I would use so that, it would be more pleasing to them. And at the time, I didn't know that I was doing that. I was not aware. This started when I was young. And as I'm going through this journey and I'm healing and I'm becoming aware of who I am and what I believe and how I think, I became very aware of these little shifts I would make when I was with different people. And I would love to tell you that I just immediately was like, oh, okay, so I'm doing that. Okay, I'll stop doing that. No, it wasn't that clinical. Again, I have these old defaults. So I would go back into, I'm pseudo self with this person. I'm not being authentic. Why aren't I being authentic? What's wrong with me? And am I ever going to get past this? I mean, this was the dialogue going on inside my head. And I was in therapy at the time. I had my life coach and I had a therapist. I was determined to be happy. And, they were both saying the same thing in different ways, that I just needed to get to know me, get to know who I was, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I needed, and what I wanted. And in that learning to get to know myself, then it would get easier and easier to really be authentic and real. And that was really good advice. And so I did begin to pay attention when I was with someone. At the moment, I'd be talking with them and thinking, is that really how I feel? Is that really what I believe? Is that really what I think? And if I didn't, then I began to change it. And I would say, I'm so sorry. I want to be honest with you. I think I've given you the impression that this was okay, but the truth is it's really not. This is how I feel about it. This is what I think about it. This is what I believe. And it was so liberating. And no one that I did that with, except my ex-husband now, was really upset about that. They were like, oh, okay. And I began to share a little bit, well, I'm in therapy. I'm really wanting to heal and grow for some stuff I've been through in my life. And I'm realizing that I've been a people pleaser, and it really hurts me when I do that. And I'm really wanting to live authentically. I'm wanting to be honest and real with myself and with others so that I can love people well. And it was well received, but it was a process. It was a journey. And not to blame my ex-husband, who I still dearly love and who's a good man. In his defense, I think that whole male-female dynamic, especially in the South, because I'm from the South, there's this unspoken rule about how Southern women are to be beautiful and supportive and accommodating and pleasing. And in my effort to be that and to be a good wife, I had created kind of this false self and made him think that I liked certain things that I didn't, that I was okay with certain things that I wasn't. And so initially, when I began to realize that I had done that, I wanted to be as authentic and honest as possible, as quick as possible to fix this thing. But I was also very new at it, and I didn't always do it right. Sometimes I did it in a way that's like, well, I've never liked that, and I don't know why I said I like that, but I hate that, and I don't want to do that. And he was just kind of like, whoa, because I had been this way for so long, and now all of a sudden I'm saying, oh, I never liked that. It was never okay. So I feel for him, because I have empathy for him, because that would be hard after being married for over 20 years. And that's when I began to become self-aware, was after we'd been married over 20 years. And we had never had a really awesome, great relationship. We had always had difficulty. And now I understand that better than ever, and I do not blame him or hold him responsible. I own my part. I know the parts that I played to contribute to the toxicity of that relationship and the brokenness of it. And I wish him all the best. But I'm sharing my journey in hopes that maybe someone that's listening, you're right where I was, and you're trying to figure this out, and you're trying to heal. And so I just want to encourage you by sharing my story. Maybe some of it will be helpful. And please, if this is too much, please seek out some form of therapy or a coach, or I am happy to coach as well. I just want to put that out there, because it is difficult to do this alone. I don't know if I would be where I am right now if I hadn't had a therapist and a coach. So anyway, just a side note. But at first, in my effort to be authentic and to be real and to accept myself, I kind of came across really strong. And so it made it difficult, especially for my ex-husband, to receive and to hear. And there were even times, looking back, I think, I became a bullier. And it was like I wanted so much to be who I was and to be authentic and real, and you're gonna accept me whether or not you like it. I kind of had that anger because I'd never given myself the freedom to be honest about what I needed and what I wanted. So I wasn't doing it too well. But over time, I realized that too, and I softened. I had a therapist once say, you need to give information in a way that people can receive it. It's like if you were going to throw me a ball, would you throw it so that I could catch it, or would you throw it over my head or too far to the right or left? No, you would throw it so that I could catch it. So she's like, when you're communicating, that's how you want to communicate. You want to communicate in a way that the other person has a chance to receive it if they're open and willing. I mean, you can't control that part, but you can control the delivery. So that's what I had to learn. But in this journey of acceptance, it really was like getting to know myself. And I had never spent much time alone. I had 4 children and a husband and a big full life, and I didn't have a lot of alone time. But one of the things that my therapist encouraged was time alone, time taking myself to do things that I wanted to do. And sadly, when I began that part, I didn't know what it was that I liked to do. So it was really awkward at first, but this was so good for me. And I'm wondering, if all that we've been through with COVID and the quarantine, if maybe there's lots of us that have spent more time alone than we ever had before. And maybe some of you know what I mean. Maybe the quarantine is actually good for you in a way that you maybe were able to get in touch with, what do I like to do? I'm so busy saying yes and supporting my family and doing all these things that I forgot. And maybe you have had a chance to reconnect with that. I hope so. Yeah, I don't want these to go too long, so I'll stop for now, and then I will cover the getting to know myself in a really practical way in my next video. Until next time, please like and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye. 'Cause I'm already